Thank you everybody for coming tonight to Gallery 1. We're so happy to be here to have Tammy hosting us in this beautiful gallery with this beautiful artwork. She continues to surprise us. Every time we come in here, there's something new and gorgeous to look at. So let's give Tammy a little round of applause for her work. She's making Nashville arts better day by day, or month by month when she brings in new artists. So first, let's thank her, and thank you all for being here and eager to learn about Jennifer Glass's work. And here's Jennifer. She's in Denmark right now, so it's 2 a.m. for her. So she she has her out if she's ready to hang up on us.
I'm okay.
Well, great. I guess I just wanted to get started talking about kind of directing everybody in the room to let you know what we're actually looking at. There's actually 3 different series of works in this gallery space right now. If we look over here, this is called Vintage Barbie Doll. And over here is behind you guys is Flora and Fauna. And over on the right, the black and white over there is called Welcome Hollywood. And Jennifer has them all here. And the name of this show is called Wither. And I'd like to just talk about that. There's 3 series, but they have one name. And how do all of these works come together to fit under that one name, Wither?
I think that everything we do, we sort of have a genuine appreciation for, worth keeping. If you think about everything that we appreciate that sort of has an age and a history to it, like a fine wine or fine architecture, I try to look at things like that. And I think about how we work so hard to maintain those things. And you think about how, you know, if a beautiful building is withering away, we work to maintain it, to keep it, no matter what. You know, and you think about the history of something and how important it is and how special it is. And we need to all really hold on to those things. And I think that that's the common thread of all of this, is to sort of slow down and take a breath and think about what's special, what's important.
Great.
And I think that's what I see in all of this work.
Well, good. Well, let's start to tease some of that out a little bit as we look at some of these photographs around the room.
Yeah.
I'd like to start with the Vintage Barbies series. I was looking at these, and when I walked into the gallery, I thought, these are really beautiful. These are striking works. I love looking at them. And I had no idea what the process was at the time. I had no idea about your background at the time. But just as an aesthetic object in front of me, I thought, this could go anywhere. I could put this in my house, and I would love it. But of course, my inquisitive mind wants to know more and think more deeply, and I think that we're all that way. If we're here at an art gallery and we're all buying art to put in our homes, we like to know what's going on behind it. And so I started, when I was reading your bio, I noticed that you first began, you developed an appreciation for photography as a child, and then you picked up a camera and started practicing during your teenage years. But when you went to university, you decided to study sociology and politics. And I'm wondering if there's a sociological, political aspect underpinning to any of these vintage dresses that we have here in this Vintage Barbie collection. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, about what you're trying to achieve with this? What's the theoretical thrust behind these works?
I think it's all about just slowing down in society. Just people, relationships, everything's moving so fast. and and all of these life sources tell us a story. And when I look at vintage Barbie, the history of the fabrics and the threads and the construction, that they're really like a sculpture. And things just aren't made this way anymore. And everything that's vintage is really, really special. And I think that they need to be cherished for that, because they all tell a story. Everything that's unique and organic tells a story, and it has its finger. And anything that's mass-produced and made in China doesn't have that. And that's just something that really needs to be embraced in our society.
Okay, great. So really, there's this idea that everything is unique, and I think that we can see that within the Vintage Barbie series and the Flora Fauna series, and that every flower is unique as well. Every plant that you come up to might look similar, but every plant is different, and every flower has a different shape. And as we look over there at the different folks, we can tell that definitely every person has their own story.
Exactly. If you look at them, they're really X-rays, and you can see the individual threads, and you can see inside. You can see its own thumbprint. You can see its own imprint.
Well,
and that's what's unique about them and special about them.
Well, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about process, because I know that is one of the most important aspects of, at least of of all of your series. But if you could begin talking to us a little bit about the Fox album technique that you use to produce these works.
Sure. The Fox Talbot created this process back in the mid-1800s. He developed what was called a camera obscura, and it was just a small box with a lens at one end, and he used it so he could make what was called photogenic tracings. And he basically took a little box that had a lens at one end and a little piece of frosted glass at the other end, and it would project an image, and he could trace it on the back of it. And with, I'm sorry, I'm so tired, it's so late here, I'm trying to stay awake. I'm trying to wake up. But with that, back in, I think it was 1830, he would coat it with salt and silver nitrate and discovered that that would darken in the sun. And he could take these botanical tracings and sensitize that paper. And that was sort of the beginning of everything. And it was just the most beautiful process in the world. And that's basically the process that I use for these salt prints. And that process was actually used by Da Vinci and Vermeer and Calinetto and, astronomers and architects.
So you actually took dresses and you placed them onto this paper and exposed them to light?
Expose them to light, and that's what gives them that X-ray, because they're exposed in the sunlight. And so it makes almost an X-ray image, basically. And then they're toned in what's called a gold toner, basically. There are different chemicals depending on the chemical that I would use.
And so how much control do you have as an artist? If you're making an oil painting, you can go over it millions of times. If you're making a digital photograph, for example, you can manipulate it in After Effects and things like that. But what about this? I'm sorry.
And you're into that.
Yes.
In the sunlight with chemistry. I scanned them digitally after I was done, but there was no manipulation at all. They were just scanned. So they're as they were printed in the sunlight and chemistry, and then varnished. So Yeah, they're just, you know, and then they each one is completely unique because once they're immersed in the chemicals, they completely change. So you never really know what you're going to get from day to day. So it's really quite a beautiful organic process, which is what I love about it, frankly, because you just don't know what you're going to get.
And likewise for your viewers, we come to this and we make up our own interpretations, and so it sounds like you're an artist who likes to put yourself out there. You're kind of this catalyst in between, bringing us messages from secret corners and giving us something to ponder, something to really come up with our own meaning of, I can tell. I guess my next question is about the formal aspects of these. Now, I know you chose these gorgeous dresses, and I hope that you all get a chance to come and look at them very closely, and you'll notice the details of the fabrics and the way, particularly in this one, you can see the way that the fabrics overlapped, and there's that kind of the X-ray quality of that creates a very interesting effect for you to look at on the surface. But I'm wondering, what comes first? Do you choose the